Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers pregame presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me today, it is Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. What's going on today, Hinks?
What is up, William? Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody who joined us yesterday for our 2 hour and 20-minute trade deadline special. It was a ton of fun. I just saw JH tell everyone to hit the like button, and that is kind of giving credence to my theory that it's actually Brenna.
She's not here today. Just saying.
We forgot to switch accounts there. Whatever happened, but the Flyers are at home. They continue this 7-game homestand this afternoon against the Seattle Kraken. And Kelly, when I opened up the NHL app today and I saw what channel the game was on, I went, "Are we for real?" This game is on ABC today.
Network.
Why? This is a national game right now. I'm not saying bad teams can't play an entertaining game, but 21 hours after the trade deadline, they scheduled Flyers Kraken, the third worst team in the East against the fourth worst team in the West. I'm baffled by this. There's a Leafs Avs game today. There's a Stars Oilers game today. I get it's Saturday. It's hockey night in Canada and all, but I don't know. Their dollar is worth 25 cents. I would probably say we need to prioritize the American audience and maybe show on national TV a couple of months out of the playoffs teams that are going to be in those playoffs. Maybe familiarize the audience a little bit.
The star players.
What do I know? Yeah, why have McDavid and Matthews and McKinnon, stars who just pulled off the biggest trade of the deadline? Yeah, why feature any of those teams? Let's go Flyers Kraken.
The best thing is I'm 99% sure the Leafs Avs game is on NHL Network, which means that it doesn't exist to anyone.
Yeah.
No one has that channel.
Leafs Avs, which I know there's a lot of people who are really going to laugh at this, but could be a Stanley Cup final preview.
It could be.
It's non-zero that the Leafs don't choke, I guess. I forget. Why not show that? I don't know. It's just one of those little gripes. I don't need to start bitching today because yesterday was a tremendous day in Flyers fandom, Kelly Hinkle.
It was.
Listen, and it's not even I hated that Scott Laughton. I'm so glad he's gone. No, I like Scott. He could play for my team any day. He is a hell of a teammate. He's a really good hockey player. It's just it was so obviously time to move on. And with the prices being paid over the last few days, you had to do it. And the Flyers went and did it. Danny Briere yesterday, he trades Scott Laughton. He also trades Andrei Kuzmenko and Eric Johnson, which I found kind of, I don't know.
A surprise.
It wasn't, I asked Charlie, had you heard anything? Because, he's a UFA. He's 100. Yeah, he's 100. He's my age.
He's not that old.
Yeah, we're the same age. But, he's near the end of his career. He's over the 1,000-game mark. He hasn't played a ton, especially recently. And they send him back to the team where he really, made his name and won his cup in Colorado. So that was cool. Charlie, I did ask Charlie, leading up, have you heard anything? Because they asked him, hey, would you want to go somewhere, basically? Do you want to go? Do you want to stay? And I guess his answer was, yeah, man, if the Avs will have me, I'll go back there. And he did. But Scott Laughton is the headliner. I I just got to look at what this team is. I'm really interested to see just how they respond today, the Flyers do, because, I made the joke right away on post-game on Thursday to you. Like, oh, when are we going to hear that we were distracted by the rumors? And Charlie, it was one of the first things he said, Sean Couturier, the captain of the team, said it. So now that the distractions are over, but they've also lost, a good friend, a good teammate. And honestly, now we're looking at everything they've lost in the last 38 days. It's 4 top 9 forwards. Like Joel Farabee was 5th amongst wingers in ice time, 11th on the team in scoring. Morgan Frost was on the team in scoring when they traded him. He was basically the 2C by ice time. Scott Laughton, 8th on the team in scoring, middle 6 center. And Kuzmenko, he was only here a month. It was 7 games. But he put up 5 points.
I was going to say 5 points. Pretty good.
Only Michkov, Cates, and Brink had more. It's 7 and 6 for those guys. They don't have any of it now. And I'm just really interested to see how this goes, Hinkle.
Also would love to hear someone still say that they don't think this team is rebuilding.
I
would like to just meet one of those people and just have them sit down and explain to me.
I just feel like constantly having this conversation is like, this poof I got going on is funny.
It's very 90s. I like it.
Yeah, constantly having this conversation is like, what is the...
I know.
Who cares? People think this, people think that. I don't care anymore. Like, it's
fair enough.
They just traded Scott Laughton, who, when they gave Couturier the C, Torts goes, we all know Scotty's the ultimate leader. But which was always funny to me. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how this team responds and how they handle just being as shorthanded. We'll get to the lineup in a little bit, but just looking back at yesterday, it seemed really cathartic for Flyers fans. I will say that. While I don't want to, are they rebuilding or not? I'm just done with it. I think everyone for one day was on the same page. Okay, maybe retention isn't ideal. We talked about it plenty on the show yesterday. Maybe we were expecting a little bit more because we see all the other crazy trades, but I think a first and a prospect is pretty decent for a bottom 6 forward at the end of the day. I'm at SmackDown last night after the show, just walking through the concourse at the Farg, and someone just comes up to me. He's like, "Great trade deadline today. Hell yeah.
Look at this guy getting recognized at SmackDown."
And I was just like, yeah, man, this was a great day for the Flyers. He was pumped. And it's just, all right. So we are once again, like with the Farabee and Frost trades, moving forward. We are actively changing the way things have been for what seems like so long. And with Scott Laughton, he was drafted in 2012. That's
crazy.
He has been here so long. It's just kind of weird to see him go, and I'm gonna miss him, but it felt really good.
Also, it's good for him. He's getting to go play for his home team. They are going to legitimately have a chance to make a push for the cup. They probably won't have to deal with Boston. So if maybe without that hanging over their head, they can actually do something. I don't know. But it's good for him. It's good for the Flyers. And I don't even know if it was a matter of being time to move on from Scott Laughton. Then like you said, he's a bottom 6 forward, probably a winger. At the end of the day, probably a bottom 6 winger. And you got a first and a prospect for him. You would be crazy not to trade him. So it had to be done.
Yeah, that's the other part of this. I know they've been playing him at center, and that has a lot to do with not having any centers.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the lineup soon. It's kind of funny. But we've said for so long, yes, Scott Laughton can and will and does often play center.
Mm-hmm.
He is a left winger, though. That is what he does best. It has been. It's where he's put up his best numbers is as a winger. And there have been times where he's kind of graded out by production and the Charlie numbers, as a second line left winger. Now, I think those days are behind him, but he's, a really good third liner, but that's it. And he's he's 30. It was the right thing to do. That's what it is. Danny Briere did the right thing. And once again showed us they are willing, like you said yesterday, to make moves that will be unpopular in the locker room, perhaps lead to a, if not step back, at least sidestep in terms of culture or leadership or whatever. And they're not afraid to do it. And that bodes well in my mind.
I'm really hoping that we see the Flyers, rather than come out today like sulking and sad, coming out today and being like, all right, boys, like, let's go. We can still do this, and it's a good opportunity because it's not like Seattle is some kind of powerhouse team. Like, it's a team that, like, I know we're going to get to the lineup and it's essentially an AHL lineup, but it's a team that the Flyers should be able to at least hang with. Like, we're not talking about the Jets again. So, like, I'm really hoping that we do see that they're able to, act like adults and move on from this and be like, yeah, it stinks. I'm going to miss my buddy, but I'll see him all the time because we're rich athletes and we all live in Ontario anyway. We're going to be going back there. I just want to see like a really strong effort from them that shuts everybody up as far as the whole, they're going to fall apart because of this conversation.
Yeah, that's, right after the Farabee and Frost trade, the Flyers were kind of already in a bad spot. They'd lost a few, but that trade happens January 30th. After that Islanders game, they were shut out in 3 straight. That was the middle one. Right after that trade, let's see, they go 0-2-1. And it's like, they definitely miss the guys and everything. And people have, their little hissy fits about that. I can't believe that they have friends. Like, all right, it's okay. It's okay that they've all bonded. That's kind of what you're supposed to. That's what teams do. Like, this is what happens in team settings. But right after that, they have like one of their best stretches of the season. They go, 5 in a row, points in 5 straight. They only lost 1 in overtime. Like, they were really good. They even beat the Jets. So I want to see if it's that, like you said, like the sulky team, or the, hey, you know what? Fresh start. Like, it's a new season, new team. Like, let's go out and show, like, let's show Danny he shouldn't have sold, something like that,
Right.
Like, I want to see how they respond. Obviously, I am at this point pro tank. If I had my way, they would start Alexei Kolosov all 19 games, the back-to-back this weekend, all 19 games.
Let's not pretend that starting Sam Ersson is some kind of guaranteed untanking move. Like,
honestly, Kelly, when I saw it was Ersson today, and let's just get to the lineup. When I saw it was Ersson today, we'll start with the goalie. We had the conversation like, all right, they actually have an opportunity here to go to Fedotov. I know conventional wisdom is you start your better goalie in the first game of a back-to-back because that's the one you should have a better chance of winning because you're going to be tired tomorrow, whatever.
Right.
But today is the 4th worst team in the West in the Seattle Kraken. Tomorrow, yes, they're not great right now, but the New Jersey Devils are a considerably better team, even with injuries, than are the Seattle Kraken. You could still start Fedotov today and it'd be like, well, yeah, Sam's still our one. What are you talking about? We played him against the division opponent who, like, might be falling out of the playoff race soon, and maybe that gives us some room to move. Like, you can talk yourself into trying to win these games by going Fedotov then Ersson. And when I saw it was Ersson, I was like, are they tanking? Honestly, that was, and I know he's the better goalie. Like, he is better than Ivan Fedotov. Obviously, he is better than Alexei Kolosov, but not right now. He's not better than anyone. He's got an 850 save percentage in his last 6 games or something.
Once again, like, you put all of his numbers together, and is he actually better than Ivan Fedotov on the whole? I don't know.
I guess he has the
potential to be better.
He has the higher ceiling. Like, the chances of him having a really good or at least average solid game are higher than Fedotov's from the sample size we have seen of them. So it's going to be Sam Ersson and net today. And the big news of the buried the lead here a little bit.
Yeah,
Giovanni Smith is scratched. No, it's I wonder if I do that so much people expect it now. No,
Maybe.
it's Cam York finding himself in the press box tonight, and that's a bummer. But we are getting Emil Andre, so
that's the upside.
It's very interesting, this move to me, because, well, Cam York was bad. Like, we talked to Charlie about it. I asked him on Thursday in post game, hey man, what have you thought of Sanheim and York lately, was my question. And he goes, York was terrible tonight. Like, that's basically what his answer was. And I didn't think Sanheim had been a lot better, but I thought York was noticeably bad on Thursday. So maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just maybe he's banged up. I don't know. It doesn't feel like he's really been the same since that shoulder injury last year. But now we're seeing Emil Andre come in, Cam York come out, and I'm wondering if this is a little look at, we don't want York, Andre, and Drysdale all in the same lineup.
So when I saw Charlie's post about it earlier, like, Charlie framed it as it being a healthy scratch. So I guess we can ask him. Yeah, we can ask him post game, I guess, if he knows that 100%. But it kind of seemed like he knew that it was a healthy scratch. And he was very bad on Thursday. But I mean, like, so were the rest of the players on the hockey team. So it's interesting just because, like, we have this whole contract thing coming up. And it makes me wonder, like, how sure are the Flyers about Cam York? Because, like, I feel like if you're sure about a guy and he has a bad game, like, you're not scratching him. Like, you're just, like, give him a little talk, show him some tape, but he's not getting taken out of the lineup. So, like, the fact that he had one really bad game, like, I don't think he's been, like, particularly great over the last stretch, but, like, Thursday, I feel like, was the first game that I can think of that it was like, wow, he was actively bad.
Just, like, watching him and going, like, what is he doing here?
Right.
Like, what on this play was his responsibility? Because I guarantee it wasn't what he was doing.
I mean, it's been a while since Tort's been able to healthy scratch someone, so maybe he just was like, I got to do my thing. I need to get one in here. But yeah, it's an interesting move. But I'm actually really excited to see Andre Sanheim as a pair. That could be fun.
That's pretty cool. I will say, I am fine. Again, this is what John Tortorella does. And if this is a one game, we need to get him reset a little bit, sort of thing. Cool. I'm also fine if they're not sure about Cam York, because neither am I. I honestly have no idea what this guy is, and he's due a contract extension. Right. Players his age, you always think about, can we lock him up long term, because the price of players doesn't go down.
Yes.
I'm not positive I want to do that. And if the Flyers aren't positive, I mean, he would make one hell of a trade chip. Teams would want Cam York. Let's not do this and tank his value. He needs to play, and we need to pretend we really like him if we're going to try to trade him. This is one of those situations where Danny Briere needs to assert his authority over the coach and be like, let's just say, I have no idea. Let's just say this is one of those guys Torts doesn't like. Not personally, just a player he
didn't at the beginning, remember?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I'm not sure he's an everyday NHL player. Like, okay. All right. All right, Torts.
Yourself, bud. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, fine. Even if you're just whatever, you have your Torts issues with Cam York, the hockey player. Let's not make them as public as we did with other dudes like Morgan Frost that eventually got traded. Let's try to keep him as high value as possible, even if his season isn't going great.
Unless Torts is already thinking like a front office guy, and he's like, let's get that value down a little bit, and then we can sign him for less.
8 years, $5 million. Let's do it.
I just don't want anybody. I don't want to sign anybody for 8 years, to be quite honest with you. It's too long for anybody.
It really is.
I'll sign Michkov for 8 years. That's it. Nobody else.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say July 1st of next year that happens.
Yeah, I would think so.
Midnight. Lock him in at $10 million.
Whatever it takes.
That seems like a discount, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
No, please, I'm begging you, Torts.
Yeah.
Danny, I'm begging you. You did the right thing yesterday. We can't turn the Cam York healthy scratching into a regular occurrence. And by that, I mean, it can't happen again.
No.
If you're not going to have him in the lineup again this season, it needs to be framed as an injury. Like, we can't tack this dude's value. He's too good of a trade chip, if nothing else.
But here's the thing, though. Like, they're playing the Kraken today. They're not that good. If the Flyers win this game in anything resembling a dominant fashion, York's not going to be in tomorrow.
That's
like no way.
That is a very good point.
So that'll be interesting.
It's a back-to-back, and he's not gonna. I guess you could always make we're still preparing Emil Andre for the NHL, the rigors of the schedule, the grind of it. He's been hurt already this season a couple of times. Let's not push it, get Cam York, I suppose. But typically, no, they're not changing a winning lineup. So we'll see how that goes. Now, let's take a look. Yeah, so it's going to be on the back end, Sanheim, Risto, Sealer, Drysdale, Andre, Zamula. I don't think that's true. I feel like they switched it.
That doesn't feel like it could possibly be right. I'm assuming that Andre is going to be with Sanheim, is what I'm guessing.
That would be interesting. We'll see how it plays out. I haven't seen the lines yet. They're probably on Twitter. The forwards, this is really something, at least based on the projected lineups that the NHL put out today. So Cates, Forster, Brink stays together. Coots, Tippett, Michkov stays together.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Konechny line. Not that there's a ton of guys to choose from. Like, they've, again, traded 4 top 9 forwards in the last 38 days. Paling and Peltier, the de facto fourth line, really, is now the Travis Konechny line. And, oh, wait, there's another fourth line in Abels, Delorier, and Lixell. That is really something.
So I do have the lineup here that Anthony Mingione posted on Twitter.com.
What do they have at the game now? Because that was just the projected lineup.
Yeah, he's got Sanheim, Drysdale, Andre, Risto, Sealer, Zamula on D.
Love that a lot more.
And then, the forward lines stay pretty much the same. They're essentially what you just outlined there.
I don't think they have any other choices. Like, these are the guys they have.
And also, they change constantly anyway. So, the forward lines are always just okay, this is what we're hoping works. And then by the second period, it's all jumbled up anyway. So, I mean, unless it's going well, which who knows?
I suppose that it could, Kelly. I suppose that it could. However, in the bets, let's get. No, I wanted to do Michkov first. We still have time for the bets at the end. I thought it was 2 minutes later than it is.
I have the ABC pregame on my television, and the puck isn't dropping apparently until 12:45.
Oh, that's a shock.
Yeah. Whom would have predicted?
Matvei Michkov on Thursday, he scored his 20th of the season officially. Lou Nolan let us know for real this time. He now has 20 goals and 26 assists for 46 points in 61 games as a rookie. And that is a pretty damn good number. Kelly Hinkle, how many points do you think Bobby Clark had as a rookie?
I feel like this is a thing that I should know.
The answer is 46. The number that Matvei Michkov has right now.
Right now.
He did it in, I believe, 76 games. It was 78 games maybe, but I know different eras, all that stuff. But Bobby Clark was a 20-year-old rookie, as is Matvei Michkov. And he's got the exact same numbers with 19 games to go in the season.
I mean, I would say that in the 70s, I think we're a little bit more comparable, scoring wise than the 90s were. You know what I mean? You're comparing, if you compare Lindros to Michkov, it was a lot harder for Eric Lindros to score goals in the dead puck era than it was for Bobby Clark to just do the weird thing where they just wheel their way into the zone and then the goalie stands perfectly still and they shoot the puck. Old games are so funny to watch. They look so weird.
They are. Bertie Perrant is dominant. It's he moved. Like he invented, like, oh yeah, Brodeur comes in and suddenly everyone's doing the butterfly.
Right.
I feel like Bernie Parent came into the league and then goalie started moving. It was crazy.
I know, wild concept.
It is really funny, but I just saw that. Like I was looking through the rookie scoring list because we've been so concentrated on like just goal total because he does have this chance to get to like 5th or 6th best in Flyers history in terms of rookie scoring. But yeah, you look at the point total and man, he's really gonna make his way up with 19 games left in the season into some really, really strong company. Like I'm looking forward to seeing where he ends up on these lists. He can easily break 50 to get into the top 10. And then where do you go from there? Like this team is this team really doesn't have much else. I hope he's featured, but it's been really fun watching Michkov this season, and we still have 19 games of it.
We're not being hyperbolic when we say that this is one of the best players the Flyers have ever had. Like, I don't think it's too early to say that, and I don't think it's outlandish to say it. He is very clearly one of the most talented hockey players that the Flyers have ever had, and one assumes he's going to get better than this. So it's like a lot of fun we got ahead of us, which is awesome.
And especially as like a player they drafted living up to potential. He is, in the last, 30 years? I mean, really since Lindros. Like that's what we're talking about.
Oh,
like
Giroux
was a nice surprise. I don't think many people expected him to be what he was getting drafted in the 20s when Bobby Clark goes up there and forgets his name. Who we taking? Like this is it's so like one of the best players we've ever had. Like we have a lot of Hall of Famers, especially back in the day. But look at the numbers. He's going to be at or above a ton of great players for this team in terms of rookie scoring. And he's 20. It's just started. We're 61 games into this thing.
It rules. I'm very excited about it. Imagine once he has a good center.
Imagine
when
he just has a center.
A center.
Sean Couturier has been doing well, but
he's doing his best.
It would be nice to have somebody who could match the skill. Coots does all the other stuff, and I think it helps. But imagine doing that and like creating your own goals sometimes too.
Yeah.
All right, few minutes left. Let's get to the bets. This pregame pick segment is brought to you by Bet365. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone who knows a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, couple of bets today, Hinkle. I think you're really going to like them. Well, not the first one, because I'm taking Seattle Kraken money line plus 125.
What does that mean? You're betting them to win?
I am betting the Seattle Kraken to win, yes.
Okay.
In any fashion, overtime, shootout, regulation, whatever.
I'm learning.
Plus 125 means they're a slight underdog. Okay. And I don't know. I just feel like this is as even as it gets. Two bad teams, and I have no idea what sort of effort to expect out of this team today. The goalie has been bad.
Yeah.
They just lost their buddy. Like they have 2 fourth lines, essentially.
Half an AHL lineup.
There's a really good chance Seattle wins this game, so I'm betting them as underdogs. And because he was the best player on the ice for the Flyers on Thursday, I am taking a Nick Delorier anytime goal at 7-1. That's right, plus 700 on a Nick Delorier goal. He doesn't have one this season. 13 games, no goals, 1 assist. Let's do it, D-Lo. Let's pot that goal.
Why not? If he's going to do it against a team, it's going to be a team like the Kraken. So let's go.
Yeah. Andrew, do we have any super chats to get to before we get out of here? I think I saw at least one from JH.
He plopped him on there. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah. JH says forecheck, backcheck, paycheck.
Dude, the new kid.
Bring all Matt Vay's friends here.
The new kid seems fun.
He seems very Kuzmenko-like kind of just a goof, and maybe he ends up being good. You never know. Maybe he's a little bit of a late bloomer. He's got really good KHL numbers last year. He's got decent AHL numbers this year. Loved what I heard out of Alex Appleyard yesterday. So I'm learning how to say his name. By the time he plays for us, I'll have it down, I promise.
I hope he's up soon. I want to see.
Yeah. I mean, look at the lineup. Why the hell not?
Why not? Yeah.
What are we doing otherwise? Ryan Poehling is centering Travis Konechny. What the hell's the difference? All right.
I do have to say, seeing a very heavy Russian accent say forecheck, backcheck, paycheck is very funny.
Yes, absolutely. All right. And another one here from JH. York scratched, Tank confirmed. Go get that top 5. I believe they're still sitting at 7th lottery odds, but the way things are going, and after the moves of yesterday, I think top 5 is well within the
Seems like it could be.
possible outcomes. That's what I'm going for. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, this is not a good team. All right, I think that is it. So that means that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers pregame presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. That'll do it for us. My name is Bill Matz. That is Kelly Hinkle. We'll be back for postgame. Until then, let's go Flyers.
We all silly like the mayor.